Hey guys, 99.99999% of you are not currently subscribed. So if you would subscribe to the channel, I'd appreciate it a lot. Enjoy the video. Okay, hold up. Hold the phone. Hold the phone. They picked Braum. We are back, and we are doing it again. Okay. They picked Braum away from me, and so we get to actually learn how to counter Braum this time. No 3-minute video. Right here we've got a banger of a game coming up, I'm sure. Let's see, what do I want to take here? Interesting, it's like Lucian, mid or top, and then Ashe AD carry. But essentially, you know, I think it's helpful to think about what I went over in the video that I did on the Braum laning, and to think about what I would try to do if I'm Braum to win the game and to get ahead, and think about how you can prevent that sort of thing from happening. So like one thing, for example, that I do to get ahead on Braum is I cheese level 1. And I do that almost every game, and it's very consistent, even though it probably shouldn't be. And it's very simple. You know, we can respect the bush, we can ward, we can check the bush with Q, you know, or an ability, and make sure that he's not in there doing that to us. The other thing that I do on Braum to try to get ahead is, you know, I try to roam and link up with my jungler. But Braum is a very slow champion, and so you can actually very easily out-roam Braum if you're just in the correct place at the right time. It's not like if he roams, he's going to always have an advantage. It's just that a lot of supports, right, at higher elo are going to roam. So oh, this should be really easy. Okay, we should be in a good spot this game. I'm pretty sure this guy is a bot account. I played with him earlier on ADC, and my jungler pointed it out. Very, very weird behavior on this account. So I think it's possible that that's a bot account. We've got a Chinese ADC on the other team, and so that makes me wonder whether it's some kind of win trade. But, you know, regardless, we'll go through, you know, how we would go about playing against the Braum here. So level 1, we don't want any, you know, invades or shenanigans to happen because obviously Braum's very strong level 1. Looks like he took exhaust, which is interesting.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Don't think that that's that good. Not a great spot for this guy to stand in case they come here, but we should be fine. So we're going to make sure that we're, you know, like actually playing the game when it starts, standing in a good spot to watch for where they could be coming from. And then in lane, we're going to want to put Braum into that situation where he's basically just playing to do nothing. And the thing that's really great about Karma, or a lot of enchanters, is that they have enough poke to bully Braum in lane if played correctly. But they also have the ability to... outscale him and do at least as well in him as him, if not better, in team fights. You know, so just a little check here, make sure that he's not in there. And then level 1, you know, we have some advantage versus Braum, which is We're not going to let him have this push. We're not going to let him hide and preserve his HP. We're just going to do our best to make sure that he doesn't have enough HP to fight us level 2, and that we're hitting the minion wave with our AD carry, so that we get level 2 first, and he can't really do anything in this game.
First love.
Shoot. My karma might be a little bit rusty, but it's going to be okay. Looks like their AD carry is auto-filled. And like I said, their mid laner, I think, is a bot account. So in this particular game, you know, it's actually very unfortunate because it's pretty rare they pick Braum away from me, but it looks like in this particular game, we're going to have, looks like their jungler might be easy time because their team's not very good. So it's kind of unfortunate because it doesn't happen a lot, right, that they pick away the Braum, and yet here we are, and yet their team, you know, their ADC and their mid lane are not very good. So, you know, we can play up like this, where we're poking him, we're playing aggressively. But of course, we want to make sure that we're careful, you know, of where the enemy jungler is. And then we don't play it too over aggressively. But they just kind of ran into us. Yeah, their AD carry has no idea what's going on, so this is going to be free. And so you can see I'm like distracted because I'm trying to explain at the same time. I'm not very good at that. This is why I've been doing YouTube instead of Twitch. Otherwise I didn't all my games. But essentially it's just put Braum on the back foot by never letting him get level 2 first, because you should never be able to get level 2 first, you know, versus these type of champions. So put him on the back foot with that, and then punish him and poke him, you know, and get wave priority and stuff like that, but make sure you're paying attention to where the enemy jungler is, that you're warding appropriately so that you don't get punished. Because really where I think a champion like Karma or any champion that's perma pushing a Braum in gets punished is if the enemy jungler shows up. Braum has really good gank assist, or like, you know, ability to set up the gank when his jungler comes. And so you need to not get caught by those ganks. And if you can avoid getting caught by those ganks and, you know, create some kind of advantage through the poke, and you're playing a champion that's going to scale at least as well as him, you know, during team fights and stuff like that, then you're going to be looking pretty good. I'm not used to, my camera control is really poor this game. I'm not used to having to look so far away from my champion. It's funny. But yeah, I'm actually particularly bad at, I guess I should stay for this. This is kind of a long time to stay for Ruby Crystal. I should have just bought Glowing Moat and left here. It's, I'm particularly bad at range champions, actually, because, you know, I'm so used to the level of tankiness on Braum, and that play style that is actually pretty rough to play for me. So you can imagine if you're actually, like, decent at playing the counter.
An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain.
Dang, I just blew up my 80 carries wave. So like here, Ashe is level 6, right? And we're not sure where their jungler is. So this is a point where like we're not going to play like we just played under their turret. We're not going to do that again. Because we're really worried about their jungler being here. Okay, maybe I get that off. But like, you know, we're sitting much further back. At least I am trying to sit much further back. And she is down here. She was at the blue. So we're kind of fake shoving this, you know, because we're trying to bait Lily in here now that our jungler's here too. Okay, that's one. Two. Easy does it. Oh shoot, that missed because of his W. But you get the idea, you know. Honestly, he's really weak to a lot of champions, and it's not just Karma that can do this, right? Senna's really great against Braum. Dang, this is kind of an awkward situation. If I walk up to stop them here, they'll actually ult me. Oh my god, I got to get away with it because the Ashe is kind of trolling. I can't do it again though. If I had R, maybe I could, but I messed up there. I do this all the time on Karma. I press the ult after I Q sometimes. So this was really similar actually to what I do on Braum a lot. Nice, we got a flash too. Which is, you know, right when my 80 carry came back into lane, you know, I'm low and Braum's kind of overstaying and greeting for me, even though I'm not going to kill myself. And as my AD carry's coming back into lane, all of a sudden I'm going in on them, even though I don't have very much HP. Like I said, their AD carry's filled, it is what it is. Unfortunately, it's not that great of a game. You know, I can kind of tell you conceptually what I think you should be doing to punish the Braum. But I don't think that, you know, if their AD carry's filled and their team's doing poorly all around, it's kind of hard to say whether I'm doing a spectacular job of shutting the Braum down or whether I'm just in a very winning situation. So I was talking about... Oh shoot, I missed that. Bad spacing too, otherwise I could have gotten him with ult Q and we might have killed him. We gotta be careful here. Well, this is such an overstay with how much gold I have. We should just get the... Oh! Dead here 100%, so I just need to get as much damage off as possible. Oh man. Yeah, we really screwed that one up. It's not too big of a deal, but that's pretty rough. Oh, I don't even remember which one I'm supposed to go. The Dreammaker? Okay.
An ally has been slain.
This guy's probably out on his own because he's Talon, but just run to him in case Playfair is out. So the thing is, this is pretty weird, obviously, that I'm building like Locket first. Guess he wants me to go. There was a ward over here.
Your team
I don't
has
think they can go to this. Oh my god, he still wants me to go. This is really bad for my ADC.
An ally has been slain.
Poor Zeri. I got pinged too many times by my mid laner. That's unfortunate.
Your team has destroyed the turret. Your turret has been destroyed. An enemy has been slain.
So I was going to say, very unusual to build Locket on Karma, but it's something that I really like to do on Enchanters because they took away the HP scaling on Locket, and so you can actually just build it on Enchanters now. We'll probably do an Enchanter item video, but that one's going to take a while, so it'll probably be another 2-hour yap session. But so basically you can build Locket, and so Locket, Redemption, Moonstone are all great items on most enchanters. I just barely can. And I like having the HP because then, you know, if I play a little bit wrong, I shouldn't necessarily build expecting to play wrong. you're an enchanter player, I think Redemption and then Moonstone is really great. I missed all my abilities there. Wow, that was pretty bad too. It was a good try.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
So I'm really a big fan of the extra tankiness that it provides me, because, you know, I can put my body on the line, especially, you know, on a champion like Karma. Being able to get in there with W and make a lot of use out of that HP that you're buying is actually really nice. And, I mean, it makes you significantly tankier, and it's not really any less healing or shielding than if you go, you know, what would you normally go? You'd normally go Moonstone, but Moonstone's about the same amount of healing and shielding, you know, especially on, like, a champion that doesn't have a ton of healing and shielding. You know, like Karma, you've got one shield, right, and you can multiply it with your ult, but, you know, it's not crazy. So being able to go lock it allows me to play the champion a lot differently and more like what I'm comfortable with. I just have more stats that I'm more comfortable with. And so, you know, I really like it. Even if you're used to playing enchanters and want to build your items in a more traditional order. Oh, shoot, I'm in a lot of trouble here. See, I would never live there if I'm not building Locket first item on Karma. Shoot, my camera control is terrible. I'm like catching a glimpse of what's going on, but I don't really see what's going on.
An enemy has been slain. Your team has destroyed a turret.
That was kind of a risky recall. So like Ardent and Staff of Flowing Water used to be a lot better. And you've got other kind of enchanter support items that you could go, like there's that new one that just gives you a bunch of healing and shielding power based on how much bonus base mana regen you have. That one's actually pretty terrible. Like, you look at how much healing it gives you and how much healing and shielding power it gives you, you're literally, like, unless you're building it like 6th item, you're literally better off just building any other healing and shielding power item, essentially. And then I guess you've got Echoes of Helia, but it's not really a healing and shielding power item anymore. It's, it's just a damage item, and it's not very good. Since they made it not a mythic anymore, its power level is pretty low. And Staff of Flowing Water was really good a year or so ago. It was really overtuned, but it got nerfed. So for enchanter items, I think you're basically just looking at like Locket, Moonstone, Redemption, since Locket can be built even on an enchanter, and it takes, we talked about with Yuumi, one of the reasons why Yuumi is supposed to be broken. Obviously she's been like hard nerfed because they can't even allow the champion to exist properly in the game. But one of the reasons why people say that about Yuumi is literally just because, not that it matters. But people were saying that Yuumi is broken, essentially just because Yuumi mitigates the main counter to enchanters, which is the ability to focus them down and kill them, and then stop all of that healing and shielding from happening in the first place. Well, if you're a tank enchanter, they kind of have the same problem. They can target you, but it's so hard to kill you that it's not really great to focus someone down who's building Locket and who's got a bunch of health and armor and MR. So it wasn't the greatest game in the world to look at how to counter Braum, of course, because my karma is not the cleanest karma that you're going to see. So we'd almost be better off waiting until somebody beats me in lane really bad, one of these games that I'm playing, and then I'll show you how they played against me. But as far as that goes, mostly their team's just not very good this lobby. His AD carry was filled. Honestly, this guy wasn't even that great at Braum. So this is the thing, right? Like, I don't win every single game. I certainly don't win every single lane. So we're going to be better off waiting for me to lose a game on Braum to somebody to show you how to best counter Braum, because then you'll see somebody who knows how to play Braum for sure, because I don't know how good this guy actually is or isn't on Braum. As far as I'm concerned, there aren't very many Braum players in high elo, and I'm pretty sure I know the people who are. This guy I never heard of before. So, we'll wait for one of those games to happen where somebody picks like a Karma or a Senna or a really hard counter champion to me. But Braum is certainly weak to certain champions, and Karma's one of them. Senna's really annoying. A good Soraka is pretty difficult to deal with, but most of the time I don't have a problem with Soraka because they're not very good. Stuff like that. And there are AD carry champions you can pick too, of course, to do similar things. So if you're an AD carry player and you're trying to counter Braum, you can pick champions like, obviously some traditional champions that counter Braum would be like Nami, or not Nami. My brain might be a little bit cooked. Nyla, Sivir, because they have the spell shields, or Sivir has a spell shield, but Nyla can block the Braum autos on the passive with her E and provide that to her support. Problem with Nyla is that Nyla's, very short ranged and not that great of a champion. Really, you want a poke champion that can punish Braum. So champions, that can do that effectively are like, Caitlyn, because she's so long ranged and can help control the wave. But basically, anytime you're playing against Braum as an AD carry, any AD carry you can pick that outranges their AD carry and is going to be able to assist your support in poking down the Braum so that he can't really do anything in the lane is good. And then from the support's perspective, if you put him in a bad matchup and in a situation, first off, you put him in a bad matchup, a lot of times they'll dodge. Like we saw in that first, clip that I thought was pretty funny when I was trying to do this the first time. But so they'll dodge a lot of times, but you put them in a bad matchup, you put them on the back foot where they're stuck under their turret and they can't do anything, or you get the wave frozen outside of your turret against them, and there's not a whole lot that he can do at that point other than like leave lane and roam. And if you're then able to be where the Braum is, when he comes out of base or when he's leaving bot lane, if you're able to match the Braum and he can't get successful roams off, and you're playing a champion that both can poke him and outscale him by being, a better champion, such as an enchanter in a team fight, then Braum just doesn't really have any room to get ahead and beat you. Even if he's a really good Braum player and they find like a 2v2 on you, if those were the situations that they were in for the rest of the lane, but they find like 1 or 2 kills, on you in lane, even if you don't kill them at all, you're still basically even to a head because you're going to outscale. So all this stuff is good. This Brahms going the Warmog stuff. I've got 2 items, So here's a great game. We were talking about the difference in the win rate between Warmogs and Locket and stuff like that, right? Here's a great example. This doesn't count as a loss for Warmogs because he didn't complete the item. But this guy lost while he was building Warmogs, and I'm 2 item completions done. Now, this is also because, of course, we're very far ahead. But the point is, when you look at these 2 items compared to each other, look at the difference in a game like this, right? You can have, no matter what support champion I'm playing, and yes, I'm pretty far ahead of the guy, but, I can be 2 items, and I was even a little bit more than that. I can be an item and a half, 2 items done by the time that he's, finishing up Warmogs. It's just too much of a power gap, when we're talking about having a whole item up on somebody. Because again, when we talk about these item actives and passives, Warmog's passive could provide enough value to potentially outmaneuver or outvalue Locket or Redemption. This is turning into a video about Warmogs. I think my brain is absolutely cooked. But just to finish the point, with Warmogs, you're waiting so long to complete the item, and the passive, in my opinion, is pretty weak compared to like a Locket or a Redemption, right? Because it doesn't help you in a fight. It doesn't help you in those key moments. It doesn't save anybody's life. It just allows you to overstay on the map in order to, potentially use a bunch of your HP and then back up and gain it all back without having to recall the fountain. And the advantage that you can get from that, it's certainly possible to get an advantage from engaging like that and then gaining your HP back, but it's not as clear of an impact as like a Locket or a Redemption. And so my problem is that you're delaying your first item by 900 gold, which means you don't have that active or that passive on that item like a Locket or Redemption for 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes while you're completing Warmogs. And especially if you're behind, you can see it's even worse, because if you're behind and the other person has more gold, now they're completing 2 item actives compared to your nothing, and you're never going to win in a situation like that. You're just never going to win in a situation like that. So you're putting yourself too far behind. You're never completing an item. And even when you do complete the item, like I said, really cost adjusted, it makes you 13.5% tankier than Locket to complete Warmogs, but at the cost of delaying every item that you're going to complete throughout the course of the game. Every item's active and passive is going to be delayed by 900 gold, which is probably going to be 6, 7, 8 minutes. And so that is really brutal. And so that's why I think it's a pretty even trade-off between Locket and Warmogs. Anyways, I'm completely rambling at this point. I hope that this game and watching how this went gives you some semblance of how to play against Braum and counter Braum. But, I'll certainly post if I get a matchup where it's very difficult for me to play and I lose lane. Well, I felt like I was playing pretty decently, like I'm playing at a decent level, but I lost lane because somebody was able to just really outplay me and beat me, then I will definitely post that, so you can get an idea of how to beat Braum in lane better. Hope you guys enjoyed. GG, and good luck in solo queue.